I'll go in reverse order the questions I say. The first question was anger management. So I'll start with that. The question was that I get angry and I went out on people who are closest to me. So the answer to that is anger management is all about self science. You need to know yourself. You need to understand a lot of things. I divide anger management in 4 steps. Okay, especially when your anger is damaging those around you, I believe that we should divide it into 4 steps. Step one would always be to identify the trigger point. When you are angry beyond, beyond a limit, when you get very angry, anger is a problem we all face, and it is like you can't avert it. आप कह नहीं सकते कि मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आता. I think it's very unrealistic. So anger is a problem we all face, and the step one is to actually identify the trigger point. You have to understand what is triggering you. Second thing is the most common question that I get is that when I'm angry, I'm hurting people who are around me. I'm hurting people who are, who matter to me. And so and I'm not able to control myself. And later I go on being guilty about it or regret it. So I just want to say one thing. Subconsciously, our brain actually knows that, anger is temporary. Subconsciously, our brain knows that people around us are the ones who are never going to leave. So that is why when you're angry, when you lose control over your active mind, you are venting it out on people who won't give up on you despite your evil. So that's why the step two is actually to identify that who are the people who are getting affected, and when you are in a good mood or when you are doing better, that's step three now. So identify, first step one was identify your trigger points. Second, step two was identify the people who are getting victimized, people who are actually bearing your bad moods, people who are bearing your bad behaviors. That is identifying that is your step two. Step three is when you are in good mood or when everything is fine with you, at that time focus on the fact that you want to manage your anger. That's very important. So focus on the fact that you want your anger to be managed and you don't want a particular person to be affected by it. जब आप अपने conscious brain में, when you are in your conscious mind, when you're not angry, when you are not in bad mood, when you are calm, and at that time when you think about it, you'll be more conscious of it when you would be angry. So step three would be to work on your brain and to remind yourself and rather cram, just cram that, okay, no, this is one person who's getting affected the most when I am angry. This is the one person I really need to keep away from. This is the one person I don't have to hurt. So when you remind your brain constantly about the fact that your anger is destroying someone who's close to you, you keep on, when you actually get angry, you are able to control yourself better. And fourth is, when you're angry, please shift to someone, to some place where there are strangers, or a place where there are no people, where there are people who would not accept your bad behavior. That's key. That's a catch actually. If you are able to shift yourself when you're angry, if you're able to shift yourself to a place where people would not be offended by your bad behavior, then you naturally come down to a level where you would not be bad, or you won't be rude, or you won't hurt. And then when you're normal, when you've calmed down, go back to your place. And if you don't have any such position where you can shift to during anger, then isolate yourself and do something creative, read a bit, or watch something that's calming. Don't watch violence at that time, and watch something that has a calming effect. And that's how you manage your anger. So anger is not just anger, every bad habit that we have, or everything that's not good for us. There is something called self science, and we work on that. Self science is all about knowing ourselves and then being able to work on it. Nobody's perfect. We can't completely accomplish something कि rocket बना दिया और छोड़ दिया space में. We can't do that, but yes, self science really helps. So that was about the first question. That was about anger management. I hope that has been answered. Second was this question was that, is it okay to leave some important things when we are mentally exhausted? ये क्वेश्चन जो ये क्वेश्चन से ज्यादा एक अवेयरनेस सेंटेंस है. We actually need to leave everything when we are mentally exhausted. Do not refrain from giving up on things when you are mentally exhausted, because mind is everything, your peace is everything. And the important things, the things that we call important in our lives, are basically things that are more to do with our race, a race that we are running in the world, in the society. So that is, it is more to do with that. And uh, so when we are running a race, and when we are in a competitive world, and when we are duty bound, so all these things अकाउंट फॉर द इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग्स. हम इम्पोर्टेंट उस चीज को बोलते हैं जो हमारी सोसाइटी को लेकर या हमारी ड्यूटीज को लेकर होती है. एंड when we are mentally exhausted, we cannot accomplish anything, however important it might be. So if something is very important, it means it is about your duty, it means it is about your social obligations, it is about your career, or it is about how many चीजों को important बोलते हैं. These are the things we call important. So when we are mentally exhausted, these things as such do not matter. And when these things, when we start working on these things, we get mentally exhausted. So it is interrelated. So it is perfectly all right to leave even the important things if you are mentally exhausted. I do it n number of times, and I think everybody should do it. It is okay to hi guys, to all those who are waving hi. So it is okay to leave important work if you are mentally exhausted. I will repeat one sentence here, that you get mentally exhausted by the things that you consider as important. And when you are mentally exhausted, you cannot accomplish the things that you consider as important. The day we understand this, it is okay to give up on important things. As such, important things are all about, the world. They're all about the social obligations. They're all about the duties we have to fulfill. And society as such is mentally exhausting. So it is okay. It is perfect. So this question was put by a kid. So I will repeat, I will insist on it. It is perfectly okay to give up on important things if you are mentally exhausted, because nothing is more important than your own peace of mind. And it is very important. Hi, Jeff. Thank you, and same here, and same to you also. I'm seeing you after a very long time. Next, I'll come to a question that okay. Next, I'll come to a question. The third question was overthinking. Overthinking is, of course, very overthinking is it's the biggest problem today. And I think most people are suffering because of overthinking. We are getting sick because of overthinking. We are losing so much because of overthinking. In fact, whatever we are capable of doing, we are destroying even that, simply because of overthinking. So overthinking is a problem. And now, when you talk of overthinking, you first have to understand, again, मैंने जैसे starting में बोला था, self science. So when you are overthinking, if you want to get rid of overthinking, ask yourself, what am I overthinking? Am I overthinking about the past? Am I overthinking about the future? Am I overthinking about the present? No, we never overthink about the present. We overthink either about the past, or we think about the future, or we think about things that trouble us, or we think about the pain, or we think about the ego driven problems, or sure, or we overthink about what do we overthink about? We think about comparisons, we think about jealousy, we think about how we are not enough. That's what we are overthinking about. But what we are not doing is overthinking or thinking about the present. So when you are overthinking, you have to understand, what am I overthinking? Why is my brain always like, a dumping zone? Why am I always so heavy on my head? So that's something you have to identify. And one thing that I always tell people is, prioritize your list. prioritize your life. Your life deserves only three important things. So just prioritize three most important things. Like for me, it would be work, it would be duties, and it would be myself. I don't go beyond these three things because, and the moment I start thinking about anything that's beyond these three things, I know I'll get migraine, I'll get upset. So overthinking is, I'm not very pally with overthinking, and I suggest also to people that overthinking will not take you anywhere. It is only going to destroy your happiness. It is going to, make you indulge into things. That indulgence could be anything. It could be a party. It could be, a bad habit. It could be socializing. It could be anything. Overthinking is not helping. People who leave will not come back with overthinking. uh, I'm saying with my own experience, last year I lost people, so they are not coming back. I overthought about things I could have done. I overthought about, all that could have been, and maybe I could have saved them, but it doesn't work like that. Overthinking is not going to help anyone. And when we are thinking about, now, again, there is a term called mindfulness. Mindfulness is being in the present, irrespective of the science related to it. I will just simplify it in one sentence, and that is being in the present. Are you in the present moment right now? So if I ask you to overthink about the present, you would not have anything to think about, because either you are doing something, you have to do it. There's no point thinking about it. Either or you are listening to something, so there's no point thinking about it. So when you are in the present, when you are in the now, the overthinking problem solves. What is gone is not in your control. What uh, will come is also not in your control. The race you are running is not in your control. The destination you are running for is not in your control. So whatever you are thinking about is actually not in your control. And most of it is based on assumptions, or is based on bad experiences or the experiences of the past. So it is a good idea to uh, not overthink and not waste your energy into thoughts that do not serve your present. And then again, whenever I talk about this, there is one common question I get, and that is, if I will not think about my future, how would I accomplish my goals? Perfect, perfect. Thinking and overthinking are two different things. When you are thinking, you are analyzing, you're doing an analysis, you are identifying threats, you are identifying weaknesses, you are working on them. That's called thinking. And when you are overthinking, you are assuming. You are assuming things that don't even fit into the scenario, or that don't even give you the result, that won't even give you the result. There is a difference between the two. If you want to think about the future, focus on the technical aspects, focus on weaknesses, focus on strengths. We call it the SWOT analysis. So focus on your strengths, your weaknesses, and the weaknesses and the threats. Above all, the threats. So identify them, analyze them. The opportunities. I forgot O kya hota hai. O is opportunities. So SWOT analysis is SWOT. So if you have to think about the future, think about the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities and the threats. Do not waste your time overthinking about things that will not solve your problem. So overthinking is in evil. I personally, if I start overthinking, I get migraine. Like within 2 days, I get migraine. So overthinking is not helping. And even if it means thinking about the future, you must think about things that are going to give you results in the future. Maybe related to your work. I think work is the best thing to think about, and everything else that is not in your control should not be wasted time upon. How to get over it? You can actually get into creative things. You could create things, and creativity is good. Exercise is good. Walk is good, and above all, there's one thing: disconnect. I often say disconnect. If you think that you're overthinking, just simply disconnect. Disconnect with everything. How to disconnect? Do things that are not related to any result of your life. Like for example, if you ask me, I would do cleaning of my house and I would set it right. I do those things. So they help me disconnect from the things that could actually take me into an overthinking state. And once you have disconnected, and once your brain and your body are equally exhausted, then take a good nap, sleep, and start afresh. And in that, also focus on thinking and not on overthinking. There is a difference between the two. People who overthink, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but people who overthink usually think at some point or the other. They think more for themselves. So you're hurting yourself more than anyone else when you're overthinking. You're not helping anyone, and you're not even helping yourself. So overthinking is not going to help. Next question that was okay. This was a little heartfelt, and this was a little like sad question. That was about overcoming breakup. Uh, People don't. I was reading my notes. People don't overcome breakups because it hurts their self-esteem. स्पेशली जो टीनेजर है, यूथ है, ये यूथ है हमारा 15 to 29 का एज ग्रुप है, दैट इज वेरी स्टिकी अबाउट breakups. And even social media, I see every day today, every day we find posts, and we find sad memes, and we find this and that. So also we find it. But how to overcome a breakup? First you have to understand what is a breakup, why is it hurting you. It is hurting you because, not because, more than the fact that the person left, how to deal with instant reaction. I will come to this, but एक बार मैं ये break करके I will come to this. So breakup is breakup hurts more your self-esteem than it hurts otherwise. Every time some child comes to me for breakup, I simply ask them one thing: change the narrative. I come straight to the solution, detail में नहीं जाते. Change the narrative. How is it hurting you? It is hurting you with the statement, the other person hurt me, the other person left, the other person destroyed me, the other person did this to me, the other person did that to me. How the narrative should be: I am sad. I love the way I felt when they were around. I am not able to feel the same way when I was when they were around. Their presence, their absence has created a void. So what you did was, instead of creating a blame game with the person who left, you made the narrative all about you. When you change the narrative to yourself, you heal. You focus on healing. Subconsciously also your mind starts thinking, oh, I see, I'm not supposed to blame the other person. I'm supposed to heal this person, that holds me. So your mind gets that signal. When you change the narrative, the mind gets the signal, okay, I'm supposed to heal myself. I'm supposed to heal this person who is okay, there's this new person. I'm not able to get the ID. It is saying, ma'am, what are you talking about? We're talking about breakups right now. I got a question which is saying overcoming breakup. So I'm talking about that. So if you're hurting from a breakup, you have to change the narrative. In fact, not just breakup, let me tell you, change the narrative for everything. It is never about, like, I'll tell you a very simple thing. When you lose people to death, what do? When you lose people to death, do you blame anyone? Do you blame them for dying? Do you blame the nature for taking them away? Do you blame, time for it? Whom do you blame for it? You don't blame anyone. You just simply tell yourself, this is how it was supposed to be. Sorry. Likewise, when you change the narrative from blaming others and identify the fact that leaving people is the same, whether they are leaving us alive or whether they are leaving us to something like death, you identify the fact that the void is inside you and you have to heal yourself without focusing on what left. I'm repeating the sentence. Whether people leave you alive or they leave you to death, you have to tell yourself that you don't have to waste time blaming them. Rather, focus on your own healing. Change the narrative. Tell yourself, this is how it is supposed to be. It is not that they left. It is that I have a void that I need to fill. It is not that they hurt me. It is that I was too attached and I was feeling a particular way, which I'm not going to feel, and that's hurting me. It is not they who are bad. It is I who is a good person and I deserve something better. And that is why maybe I was given this, corridor for a better energy to flow into my life. Breakup is not the only pain in the world. And when you identify that A breakup is not the judgment for your self-esteem. You realize that it is nothing. The problem is that every time there is a rejection, even if we get a rejection in a job, what do? We get a rejection in a job, and we start taking it on our self-esteem. It takes a lot of time to overcome you know that thing. But no rejections of life, no breakups, no failures ever decide your worth. You are worthy. You are as worthy as you were, and you always will be as worthy. It is just a matter of understanding that we don't have to, attach our worth to other people. So when you have to overcome breakup, you have to overcome the fact that you have to stop focusing on them, rather focus on yourself. And let me tell you, whatever you focus on in life grows. So ensure that you focus on your void, filling your void. Because when you focus on your void that has been created in their absence, you focus on filling that void instead of blaming them for creating that void. I hope I haven't confused it. This is how it is. You have to focus on yourself. You have to focus on your own development. It's your path. You are walking it. Somebody came. Somebody walked with you for a while. Not everybody walks forever. That person left. That's the mindset. The day you maintain it, life would be easier. So breakup, when you are young, breakup hurts more. I understand that. I'm not questioning it. I'm not saying that it is not a reality. I'm not saying it is unreal to feel it. I'm just saying that the way you are, that you just have to change the narrative. Instead of focusing on who did bad to you, focus on what has happened, the damage that has happened to you, and how are you going to work on healing that damage. That's more important. That was about overcoming breakup. Next question. Okay, breakup. I had written a few points which I forgot to mention, and that is the best way to overcome the whole thing is focus on your success, build up yourself physically and mentally. And one thing, when you're hurting, get closer to your family. That's very important. Even if your family is not supportive, they are blood relation, and you would always be submissive to them. So even if it's like hundreds of fights you will have with them, but you will always love your family. So whenever you're hurting after a breakup, or if you're hurting, just spend more time either with your family or with people who have expertise in the same field that you want to excel in both the cases, you learn. In one, you learn patience, and you learn that there are more important things than those, than the partner who left. Or when you are with people who have technical expertise, you are able to learn the art of building up yourself professionally. So you succeed, you build up yourself physically and mentally, you get closer to your family, and or the person who has more expertise than you. And creativity, I always say it in all my sessions, creativity is very important. When you when you give your energy to creating something new, you always create something beautiful. Like last year, I since last year I'm still struggling with my own pain of losing people. So creativity has helped me a lot, be it writing or be it painting. I'm doing it as much as I can, and the day I feel like when I'm hurting, I am into creativity, and it actually heals me. I get up, I emerge better, I emerge stronger. So I think creativity really helps, and I think that's it about it. And next was panic attacks. I got a question about all those people who have waved at me hi, and all those said who have hi, hello, and coming to the next topic, which is panic attacks. Uh, Panic attack is a major problem in today's world. Needless to say that. You have to understand why are we getting a panic attack. Everything online that I've read about panic attacks seems unreal to me personally. I tried making notes. I do study. I do study a lot. And whenever I study, I study panic. I did try to study panic attacks also. But I somehow feel everything that internet is saying, at least the one that I have read till now, is unreal. They give you solutions like rush to a doctor. Now, panic attack, if you rush to a doctor, I don't think the doctor will have a particular treatment or a quick remedy for it. Okay. And so or sedative is not a solution. So I personally think that first of all, panic attacks, if you commonly get panic attacks, you have to understand that why are we getting panic attacks? You get panic attacks in situations that you think are losing control. Now imagine in today's world where it is so difficult, we actually feel that we are losing control all the time. So every now and then we are actually facing panic attacks, isn't it? So panic attack is, it can be anything. It can be a simple breathing issue. It could be palpitations. It could be sweating, sweaty palms, uh, heartbeat. Your heartbeat, it goes high, and it could be an eating disorder, or a panic attack could be anything. How to get over them? Do not, do not. First of all, whenever you have a panic attack, try to reach someone try to reach someone and get a company. Try to reach someone who can talk to you or be by your side quickly. That's a very real thing to do, because panic attack may you actually lose yourself, and you even sometimes, when it's intense, or when it's really bad, you go for things that are self-destructive. You could get suicidal too. So whenever you get a panic attack, please contact somebody who you think is can help you, or can be at your can be there for you immediately. Second is, avoid caffeine, avoid drugs, and avoid drinking, and avoid smoking. And nicotine, I mean, you have to avoid all the indulgences when you have a panic attack. Please do not rush for an indulgence when you have a panic attack. It is going to damage you further. Third is, you have to pick up a fragrance around you that can help you heal. Any fragrance that you like. So it could be anything. If you have a particular perfume that you like, just inhale the fragrance and sniff it and take it. And or if there is any other thing, like some people like um, anything. It could be a lavender, it could be a particular flower, it could be a particular fragrance, so it could be a particular a particular spice that you really like. If there is a fragrance you like, the moment you get a panic attack, it's a good idea to take it in. Third thing, which is a quick remedy, if somebody around you or you have a panic attack, please inhale the ointment, the Vicks, Move, any ointment that has we all have it. हमारे घर में सबके होता है. So because they have a concoction of cloves, um, eucalyptus oil, and camphor oil. These three things are commonly found in all the ointments. So when you inhale, or when you sniff, or when you take that in, it calms your mind. And these three are excellent remedies for panic attacks. All right. And also, the first thing to do is, I'm telling it in the last because I forgot it. First thing to do is the second finger. This one, this finger, second finger. Yeah, the tallest. You press it under your thumb and keep it for as long as you can. The moment you're able to do that, it helps you not just panic. This is not just for panic attack, it's even very good for your anxiety attack. So it's very, very good for both panic attacks and anxiety attacks. So I hope that helps in panic attacks. Further, if I've forgotten a point, you can actually contact me in the DMs also. And last topic was the most important topic that we are all struggling with, and that is how to save self from toxic people. Toxicity is everywhere. We all face, toxic problems, toxic people, toxic situations, toxicity, and even toxicity within. So how to save? I recently was studying toxicity, and I think the best way to save yourself from toxicity is step one: try to help them, try to make them aware that they have a toxic behavior, and that is not acceptable in the long run. Work on them with about 3 to 5 warnings. It is important that you give them warning that if they continue that toxic behavior and don't work on it, chances are they're going to lose a lot of things. And if you think their toxic behavior is affecting you in any way, be it your dignity, be it your you know, your happiness, be it your peace, or be it your complete survival, be it anything, your work. If somebody's toxicity is affecting your existence in any way, make them aware, give them a chance, help them for as long as you can, as long as your capacity allows. But if you are not able to help them, please do not be punching bags for toxic people. I keep repeating this. I know people tell me it is selfish. How can we not be punching? It is not about being a punching bag. We have to help people because, you know, if you love someone, you're supposed to help them. Very, very true. You're supposed to help them. But you, again, are not a punching bag for somebody who doesn't want to solve a problem or doesn't see a problem in their own actions. Mental health, yes, needs attention. Mental health needs a lot of empathy. It needs a lot of sympathy. It needs love for healing and curing. It needs a lot of support. And there is always someone who is giving unconditional support to people who are suffering mentally. And, hats off to such people who are doing it. But if there is a toxic person, do not take that toxicity on you, because, again, you are not supposed to suffer somebody else's, you know, unwillingness to heal. Somebody once told me that healing is not about willingness. I totally say no, this is not true. However, yes, there are complexities. Everything is, complex, and mental health is very complex. But toxicity in today's world has a lot to do with, see, we have an ear lead, okay? आपने ear lead ली है, that ear lead is tangled. That's how the brain is. It is tangled. Again, and shredding it and whatever you call it, उसका knot खोलना जो भी होता है, to untie that knot of that is there in the ear lead, it takes a lot of patience, right? True, it takes a lot of patience. But there are times when you yourself have important things to deal with in life. Will you at that time waste time on that ear lead that's tangled? You will not, right? Likewise, do not waste time and life on anyone who is misusing you to vent out the insecurities or the toxicity of their own life. And somebody who wants to heal would heal, but mostly my experience says that toxicity cannot be healed unless the person who holds it is willing to change. Stop wasting your life, your time on anyone who is toxic. It could be a toxic parent, it could be a toxic sibling, it could be a toxic spouse, it could be a toxic friend, it could be anyone who is toxic. Again, I'm not saying give up on them, I'm saying try your best, try as much as you can, but please do not waste time, on anything that is costing you yourself. You are not the cost for anyone, not even a parent, not even a spouse, not even a sibling. You are not a cost for anyone's toxicity. So I think saving yourself from toxicity, the step one is, instead of focusing on, them, start focusing on yourself. Start focusing on the fact that, hello Shadi, start focusing on yourself, that you are, the one who needs to be saved. So it's not the toxic person, but you who has to be saved from their toxicity. So that's how you help yourself dealing with toxicity. I did not make any notes for toxicity because I've been studying about toxicity a lot. And toxicity most of the time is about your own thought process. And there is one thing, a toxic person is a wound collector. That is a term internet gave me. A toxic person is a wound collector. When we say a wound collector, we say that they are even collecting woes of the world that don't belong to them, that they can do nothing about, simply to bash. So a person who is in a habit of bashing, things that he or she doesn't, control or doesn't have an access to, is usually toxic. So you have to save yourself from all sorts of toxicity. And the best thing is self-love, self-care, and know that if healing someone is costing you your peace of mind. It's too expensive. Give toxic person one chance, two chances, three chances, but the moment it is four and five, you are the cost. Try on changing people, try on healing people only when it doesn't cost you yourself. I say this all the time. We as therapists have a job of doing it. We're doing a job. So we don't have a choice of saying no, we won't help you. But you are not, it's not your job, right? So don't let toxicity of the world or toxicity of your, people around you to harm you, to hurt you. Don't let it uh, destroy you. It is a good thing to chase your peace of mind atop everything. There is no harm in chasing peace of mind over everything, right? Now, taking up Neha's question, Neha said that uh, how to क्या था instant reactions, how to control instant reactions. I've always said instant reactions are also a form of panic attack only. एक attack ही है वो भी कि आपको एकदम से you have something, and that instant reaction is something that happens when you lose complete control over yourself. You lose complete control over yourself when you haven't checked yourself on the trigger point. If when your mind is calm, if at that time you start working on your brain and you start working on these points that is triggering you, that are actually making you so helpless that you give instant reactions, then then that is the reason why you're not able to control yourself. So when your mind is calm, assess yourself. Instead of focusing on when our mind is calm, we are blaming the world. When our mind is not calm, we say, oh, we did this. So let's not do it. When our mind is calm, I'm getting a lot of hearts. These are very sweet. Okay, thank you. So when your mind is calm, you have to um, think about things that are triggering you in your when your mind is in those times when there is unrest. So sit and assess yourself in good times so that when there are bad times, you can remain calm and balanced. I hope that helped. Can I take any more questions? अगर नहीं है तो फिर we'll end the live. Any more questions? All right. Thank you for joining in. I hope I've answered all the questions